Hi, and welcome to another episode of Life Masters. I'm Tanya Memme. Today on the show, we have Audrey, and she is a soul healer. So let's start off with explaining what a soul healer is.
Well, to heal, we have to go to the deep level of the soul, because you know you can go to a therapist for years and years and never heal, right?
Very true.
So if you've gone to all those therapists and you're still suffering, then you have to come to a soul healer, which is to look beyond the rational mind, right?
Totally.
To the level of the soul, and that means the soul wound, which I've coined, which is what you came here to heal on earth, and to listen to soul messages and to do a soul retrieval, because we can't heal in the mind. We actually have to heal energetically, Tanya. This is what happens.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
wow.
this is the next level. I call it the new frontier.
So what is a, you mentioned something just there. You said that it was a, like on an energetic level, you were here to heal the soul. Like what does that, what does that mean?
Well, the invisible energy that we pick up from people, the cords, the hooks, the chains. Like let's say you break up with somebody and you think you're over them and you just feel they're like a ghost haunting you in your bedroom. There's an invisible energy. And so when I work with people, there hasn't been anyone who hasn't been able to do it, to really see where they're energetically hooked to someone, even if it's 25 years ago, even if it's in childhood. So what I do is help someone see the chains and the cords, because you have to cut them, especially if you want to meet a new man and you're a woman, right?
Yes.
You got to be able to cut from the old relationship.
So true.
Yes, and also negative energy that we pick up. A lot of times you get diagnosed with depression, but it's not depression. It's actually an overload of taking on people's energy. And what do we do as women? We take on
So much.
karma.
Yes.
Karma, people's baggage, and women don't even know that they're doing it. So that was my mission.
Yes. So let's talk about your mission. I mean, it's incredible. I have not met too many soul healers at all. How did this start for you?
Well, so
when you were
wanted
little,
to
right?
tell you about this.
I'm so excited to hear.
I'm so wanted to tell you about this because we were talking about women.
Yes.
And that was my passion. So I'm an actress, always been an actress. I worked in a clothing store. My dad was in the clothing business, but I came out to LA and I was working in a clothing business.
Now, how old are you at this point?
I think this was my 25, 26,
Did you
something
have
like
visions
that.
or anything that this is what you wanted to do?
Always,
Did you
as
have
a
like
child.
crazy things? So tell me about that, like as a child. What were
Always
some of the
known.
crazy things that happened, or how did you know, or what was that like for you? What was going on in your mind as a child?
It was always a knowing, a deep knowing I'm here for something.
But you didn't know what?
I knew it was something big. And you have to understand, I was on the forefront of some of this stuff, Tanya, really. So I'll tell you about it, and you'll see how all of this evolved. I was working in a women's clothing store, and women would come in, and I would see that they hated their bodies. They were never happy. Even the size 2, size 4, nobody was happy. And I said, I have to do something about this. I really have to do something about this. So I decided to start a television show. Now at the time, what I wanted to do was just hold up a sign and say, women, you're brainwashed, because you don't even know you're brainwashed. That really bothered me. They don't even know they're brainwashed from the history. His story, where the hell is her story? I mean, it's been taken from us, right?
So you're talking about you have studied and studied what went on, how many like thousands and thousands of years
Well,
ago,
I think it was an organic process.
Right.
Because when you're on this path, it takes you on a journey.
Right.
So when I saw these women, I said, I have to do something, and I said, I'm going to go on TV. And that's when I created Real Women, positive role models for women. And I just started peddling spirituality. I met amazing people. I have some of the people on a blue screen that have now become famous. And I just started, and nobody wanted to talk about spirituality. Nobody wanted to talk about women's issues. So I was like,
what was it for you though that like, okay, this is what I want to do? Like if nobody's talking about spirituality, how did you discover it?
Oh, there was no choice. You see, when you have to do this, there's no choice. It's not like, oh, I want to become famous. It's like it's in you, and to this day, it's about enlightenment. It's about the real message. It really is. Like,
So how did you go about discovering that? Did you read books? I mean, how did it work?
Well, I had amazing teachers.
Ah, okay.
I had amazing teachers that are hidden in living rooms in weird places, and I had gurus, and I was just really a very connected person to the spirit world. And I knew
So when you say hidden in living rooms, what do you mean by
I mean teachers that were really bringing in very evolved things.
Okay.
Like sacred geometry, symbols, activating the body, because we're computers and we have to turn on our computers. That's another lie that we've been told, is that we have to go to somebody to get our spirituality. And it's actually
within us.
Within us.
Right.
And we have to turn it on. So I learned how to turn it on for people, because, you know, I work in a rehab now, and I have fascinating cases, fascinating stories. And if you really understand where we're at spiritually, we're going into a new timeline. We're going into a new age, really.
Yeah.
So you have to bring people emotionally, spiritually, vibrationally into the new age. You really have to turn on the computer.
Yeah.
And to be intuitive, this is our pineal gland. It actually has to be turned on. You see?
It does.
Yes.
So you were in the store. You discovered people that didn't like their bodies, and you're like, I have to do something about this.
And it was related to the media. I said the media is brainwashing women.
Right.
Really. So.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you, especially
So
back in the day.
Yes.
Well, even now it's even worse, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I started aligning with a company called Media Watch, and we were protesting different advertisements that were bad to women. So I just started getting in. It wasn't like I was a hardcore feminist. I just couldn't stand what was happening to women.
You wanted to do something about it.
Really, especially as an actress. Well, you need to change this, you need to fix this.
Of course.
So I related a little bit of the history, and I do a YouTube show. I wanted to just document all of this. People really believe history starts with the Bible. They don't understand there is a her story, 25,000 years before, right?
And this is something you've been studying.
Well, I have to let people know. You think the Me Too movement and the patriarchal stuff that's going on is way back when. It's not, it's a real rising of the woman. And in the golden age, women have to rise up because it's so off balance. So there actually is a prophecy that women have to take back their power. And that is my quest.
So let's talk about that, because I know you have studied that. What did you discover about women and when it comes to power in the past and where it's come to now?
Women are very powerful.
In the past.
And now.
And now.
And
Yes,
always.
Yes, yes.
And men have been afraid of women. So they actually came. This was not a gradual thing. They actually took her power away. And they completely hid the evidence. They completely took away all her goddess history. And so she now reads the Bible and says, probably in the first 3 pages of the Bible, it's all over for women, right? You shall bow to a man, you shall be silent in the church. And so she thinks she's a second-class citizen. And here's the thing, this is my mission, if every woman would know the truth and wake up, they would know in what I call the sovereignty of the self. They wouldn't take any of the crap. They would know they don't have to wait on anybody, and they don't have to ask anybody for permission. All they need to do is love themselves and say, no, enough, I'm done. And that's what's happening in the world now. So
sure
you
is.
think you need men to change? How about this? Forget that. You change. And that's the whole deal with the goddess, knowing what we have. But on a deeper spiritual level, the Kundalini energy is the divine feminine within all of us. So I had a guru, Srimataji Nirmala Devi, who recently passed. And she taught me how to raise this energy body, and then you're like in total bliss. And there's the inner peace. You don't have to talk about inner peace, you actually feel it. And it's a blissful state.
Wonderful. And I know, you mentioned it there for a minute about self-worth. I know self-worth is a huge thing right now, especially for women making the choices and decisions that we need to make, not having the courage. A lot stems from not having the self-worth or believing that she can do it. How do you work with, first of all, what do you have to say about that? And secondly, how do you work with clients when it comes to that?
That's exactly where I go. That's exactly the most important part, especially with women. Boundaries, I am no longer taking this. And then I have them see where they lost their power. And they,
Like in their life,
in
where
their
they
life,
lost,
track
and a
it,
pattern.
track it.
Is there usually a pattern?
There is, it's young.
So it
It's
starts
very
young, and
very
then
young, very young criticism. When you're young, you're criticized. We all are. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're sexually abused, which is a very big deal, right? How do you heal a woman who's been sexually abused? Well, you can't stop what happened, but you can have her spiritually, in her soul, take back her power.
So what are some of the first steps that you tell, that you teach people to do?
Well, because I'm an intuitive, it's different for everybody, right? So sometimes it's past lives. Sometimes it's a negative energy force. Sometimes it's a soul contract. Sometimes it's karma. And it gets to be really fun. I mean, I've had some amazing cases. I've had this woman who had the worst luck I've ever seen. She got very sick. She lost everything. I said, oh my God. So I really started to see her grandmother. And I always honor what I see. I saw her grandmother. I said, your grandmother's here. And I said, oh, she's telling me she taught you black magic. And she did. And so this was all,
Hey, wait, so
really, this is true.
what do you mean by that?
As a young girl, she taught her how to do black magic.
Does she remember that? Did she remember?
She remembered I said it. So I said, you now have the karma of all that you did. And it has now backtracked on you. And we have got to correct it. You see? So
now,
if
was
you
it
have
something she did in a past life, or was
No,
it something
this life,
she did in this
as a
life
little
as a
girl.
child, but she didn't know what she was even doing?
her grandmother had passed, but her grandmother had taught her black magic. Candles, ceremonies. And actually,
She's doing this as a little kid, like
she was doing it as a little
oh my
kid,
goodness.
and her life has taken on a bad turn because of it. So imagine going to therapy and doctors and not being able to look at the soul issue, you see, and then we were able to look on that level and heal it.
So as an intuitive, you picked up on her
Yes.
grandmother's energy,
Yes.
told her
You know
something
what?
about
Yes.
herself that
Yes.
she knew that probably she didn't tell anybody.
No, because
She must have been just
because
mind blown.
my wish is I want to really do this. If I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
then I really want to do it in a revolutionary way.
Yeah.
And I worked with addicts, which are incredible. Addicts are just one step away from, enlightenment in a way, because they're so beaten down, right? So I have a whole nother perspective on addiction.
Wow, I've
Yeah,
never even.
oh yeah. And I've had so much success on transformation quickly because I can connect all the dots. If you've been adopted, you have certain illnesses. So illness too. Why is someone sick? If the doctor can't find out, or you've tried everything, we've got to go to the soul too and find out the reason. Sometimes the illness looks exactly what the issue is. Like people who go like this. I had this woman, she had this terrible skin disease. She was going like this. Well, she was actually abused.
Scratching her hands
Scratching
over and over.
all over, and she was actually trying to get her abusive father off of her.
And you picked up from
yeah.
that, and then
Yeah.
so now
yeah.
she doesn't scratch anymore.
No.
kind of thing.
No.
And it can be in one session, 2 sessions.
It's faster now. And now it's gotten really fast.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness!
it's really
So
fast. It's
how
a
did
total
you-
gift. Total gift. I totally give it to the world, and it really is. It's a total gift, and that's only because I think my journey took a long time. I think I was always perfecting, and because I was always saying, when is it going to be my time to come out and do my show, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, just keep getting better. And now my husband says, move the world, because there's been so much information, and I really want to help.
I love the fact that you have a husband that said that to you. A lot of us.
Well, that's a funny
don't.
thing too about relationships, meeting someone, doing the work.
Yeah.
I'm writing a book about the science of it. If you do the work, you'll have it. You
I love
see?
that it's science-based too, because a lot of people will be like, well, how do you know this and that? What's your, but the fact that you're writing a book
Yeah,
that is
do this, do that.
science-based.
Yes. You want to meet a soulmate? Do this, do that. And know that every single issue, every single guy, let's say you've dated narcissists, if you're on this
Oh, yes.
path.
Yep.
No, not you.
Oh,
does
well.
anybody?
Well, I have
Then
too.
you're on this path.
Yeah.
Every single narcissist is going to come to your door because you have to heal it. See, that's why people, they're in pain. They don't understand how it works. Nobody left the manual, so I'm going to try and say the manual.
Yeah.
You're on a healing path. You better get ready, because great responsibility, great power comes with the opposite. It's going to come and it's going to, oh my God, just hit you in the butt. And I'm used to it now. Okay, what's next? Okay, we got to go through this. You see, because there's some forces that probably don't want the light in the world. I mean, it's true.
What was that day like? Because I'm sure there was a moment when you realized that
Yes.
you, for some reason, Audrey just gave me this beautiful necklace.
Selenite.
It's selenite, so I'm wearing it.
Yes,
Put it here too, right in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crystal that just clears everything.
I love it. It's so
Now,
pretty.
you know, I just want to say that, you know, I'm a New Yorker, as you can tell. So that's what makes this fun, because I work with very amazing clientele. I mean, doctors, lawyers. So you can't be airy-fairy. You have to bring the goods, you know.
You do.
It's a tough room, my husband says. So,
Yes, but I love that you mix science with history, with, you know, what you're doing too, and spirituality. And that day, was there a day where you discovered that you had this intuitive gift? Like, what was that time like when you, I mean, there must have been that moment.
I remember as a little girl when most people wanted to go out and play and I wanted to learn the ukulele. I said, something's not right with me. I'm on some other path. And I want to go to England, and I want to study spirituality as a young kid. So I've always known there's something there. You know, who wants to do that? You know, I've always wanted to just, you know, I come from a Jewish family. You got to get married and do this. I was like, please leave me alone.
Yeah,
I just
didn't resonate with you.
I just wanted to become an inspirational force, and my name's Hope. So there's, you know, there's the joke, right?
Right.
How did my mother come up with that?
Right.
If you knew her, you'd know that it was really like wild.
So what was one of the most, what was one of the most profound things to ever happen in your life that led you on this path? Because this is a pretty intense path that you've led.
Yes, very intense.
It's very unique.
The teachers that I've met and how I met them, they came to me. I remember I worked in a rehab and I saw a book laying around outside someone's office, and I said, I got it. What's that book? It was the weirdest shaped stuff that I didn't know what it was. It was really advanced. And the girl said, no, in the office, said, you can't. And I said, I have to go there and I have to meet this person. And his name was Alton, and he was a teacher. He's not alive anymore. And I went and studied with him, and he taught me all about, like,
all this.
Like how to, you know, reach other dimensions and stuff. So there it was from a book, and I just kind of followed that.
Now, was this at a young age? Was this?
It was just always.
Ah.
But I was an actress, so, and I came out here because I wanted to do film and TV, and then like I said, I couldn't stand what was being done to women.
So it seems a lot of your path has sort of unfolded because you kind of let things come to you.
Yes.
I know that most people don't do that. I know that most
Yes.
people are like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I was one of them for,
Yes.
I literally quit the show that I was on and walked
Very
around going, what am I
courageous.
gonna do next? I know.
I still-
I'm still going, why did I do that?
I still
No.
find that amazing, and I applaud you for that, because that's what it takes.
It does take that.
It does take that courage to
Yeah.
walk away and say, I'm not going to be doing this, and that's what women need to do. So you have to understand you're not like the rest.
Oh, thank you. It was hard.
Welcome to the club.
Well, yeah, I know, right? And now I even forget what I was going to say. But
Oh, yes.
it was,
That's, I call it do-do. The do-do. Everybody's doing. Actually,
Yes.
opposite.
right.
Okay? If
I was
you,
doing.
Exactly.
I got to do this. I got to do that.
Right.
I'm going to run out of all my money. I don't have.
Right.
And you're living in scarcity.
Right.
Which is what I
Right.
had done for a long time. And then when I said to myself, okay, I'm just going to let, and that's how Life Masters really came to about. This show
Yes.
is me trying to make things happen, and then finally, I'm going to give up the white flag and see what happens. And this is what came
Yes.
about, meeting you, meeting all these exceptional
Yes.
people in my life now.
And calling it masters. Because the real truth is we're here to become masters, especially now in this time period. This is a time period like no other. You do get that, right?
Yes, I do.
I mean, and
I know
here
what
you
you're
are. I mean, really,
Yeah.
it's a karmic cleanse in the world. And as my friend says, you got to pay the check. It's time to pay the check. There's a real force going on in the world, and a lot of spiritual people know it. They've been preparing for it. The great teachers have gone, and it's us. We're the ones we have been waiting for. It's us now, right? Because we got to bring it in, bring in the new world. So if for those who don't want to come, who don't want to take the invitation, I don't know, but it's happening.
It is, in a fierce way.
In a fierce way.
I know what you mean. It's funny because there's a lot of people talking about it, sort of like it's this, not want to say like underground thing, but
Yes.
there's a lot of talk about it when you're in that spiritual world, and they know it.
Yes.
Yes.
Spiritual people have been beaten up. When is it my turn? And guess what? It's supposed to be that way because masters have got to go through it to become masters.
Master. Ah, okay. Now I've
So
better.
say, now this manifestation, well, I'll just, say affirmations and have it come. Come on. There's a whole nother level to it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. Right.
Life has to
but
beat you up a little
masters
bit, and then-
and light workers
Yeah.
have to go through a lot. So if it's not coming, it's a blessing. It's true. It's a blessing to not get what you want.
Well, but I love hearing everything that you've said because it puts a whole other perspective on things, and I do know what you mean. And there comes a point where you just sort of let things happen, and all because it hasn't happened now. There are certain things that we each have to go through in order to get to the point where we do become a master, right?
Yes. Yes, and to raise our vibration and to be very powerful, it takes a lot.
Well, I am so happy, Audrey, that you were able to come on the show. I've been dying to interview you since the day I met you. I met her. I was sitting down on the couch outside. You were at EverTalk. You were on one of the other shows, and we had this like mind-blowing conversation. I was like, I told people about
you. I told people, and I have just a little gift.
Oh, thank you.
I always bring gifts. It's just my thing. So I made that little headband for your daughter. You said you had a daughter.
You made this for Ava. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I did.
Look how pretty that is.
It was a phase. It's over now.
It's okay. I was a DIY expert for many years.
And there's just a little lucky rock for you.
Oh, let me see. Oh, you are so
You can read the card if you want.
Yes, I'm going to. Oh,
What
look
does
at
it
this.
say?
The rock says trust.
Aha.
Yes, there you go.
I picked that one for you.
Yeah, that's a really good one for me. Thank you. Resonates a lot. Okay, let me read it. Oh, bless you in your dream. Love, Audrey. Dear Tanya, you are amazing, and I am honored to know you. Well, I'm equally as honored to know you. And thank you for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure. It felt like a minute.
I know, right? I feel like I'm not even halfway through. All right. Well, if you want to binge watch all of the episodes, go to lifemasterstv.com, and you can also go to the EverTalk app. They're all there on Apple TV and on Roku, and make sure that you check out the podcast. And Audrey, this episode is going to be up on the podcast
Can't
on
wait.
iTunes in just a few minutes, so you make sure that you listen to hers and all the other Life Masters. And we're really here to help people. We've devoted our lives to help people, and if you do listen to the podcast, it will make you feel better and shed some light on different situations that you might be going through. So please listen, give us a rating, and write a little bit about what you think of the show. We would love it. Thanks again for listening to Life Masters. I'm Tanya Memme.